Hello everyone, Bigdosses here and welcome to another video. In this video we're gonna look at a Halls of Atonement plus 19 I did earlier as a survival hunter. So first off we're gonna go to the left. This is a bug run and this was called out I think. So we're gonna go to the left and we needed to trap those mobs. And then we're gonna group them all up. And I called out to the tank before we even started this run that he should really watch out with Halkias and his thrashing ability, because I've done this run a couple of times with Sanguine, and it's always a shit show when mobs die underneath Halkias and he starts to heal up, and it just takes a tremendous amount of time, even though it's not mob week, it's boss week, so it takes a lot of time anyway. But yeah, that's what it is. And sadly we do get a lot of Halkias overhealing at the start of this dungeon fight. But yeah, that's something that we got to deal with, and it gives us time to deal some damage. It is crazy how much damage the Druid tank is doing. As you can see in the bottom right corner of the screen, he currently tops the DPS meters. I don't know if this is normal for a tank, or it's weird. It's weird seeing a tank deal so much damage. There, the mob, what's it called, Obliterator, I should have kicked him earlier. That way he would have been going out of Sanguine earlier, and I would have made that just a little bit quicker. But yeah, I was a little bit late on that one. Luckily he died though, so that's good. Now we only have Halkias left. I'm holding on to my resonating arrow because I'm waiting for another big pull, so we can use our resonating arrow. For this run we are running with the 2 set. We do not have the 4 set yet. We do have 3 pieces of it, so next week we can actually make it, and then we can run with the 4 set and see how survival is with that. And besides that, we can also see how Beast Mastery and Marksman is with that, because I have not been able to try it out yet. But guys, if you like this content, then consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. It helps me out a ton. So what I'm doing here, while I'm waiting for the tank to group everything up, is I'm making sure that I use my Serpent Sting on as many mobs as I can. That way I can make sure that I have some damage in, and then when I have a green bomb, it actually deals a lot of extra damage as well. Now there is a blue bomb coming up, so I want to make sure that I'm having a little bit of focus, and that I use my carve right after using the red bomb or the blue bomb, because that way we can have a bleed rolling, and we have the talent, which then also helps us with how do you say that in English? Gives us attack speed. That's the one. So yeah, it's all a bit messy. There's a lot of overhealing being going on at the first part of the dungeon. Luckily later on in the dungeon that all gets a little bit smoother. So yeah, later on we're good on that, but at the start of this dungeon it's all a bit messy. But yeah, that's these bug runs go like that sometimes. I am on comms with the Shaman, by the way. I have not said this is a bug run, but I'm doing this with a friend of mine, which is pretty nice. And now we're gonna go into the next pool, and I do not have a lot for this, but I would have hoped for us to get the groundskeepers as well, because that's more targets to hit, and as a survival we of course shine with more targets to hit. So yeah, it would have been nice, but he chose not to do that, which is all right. My positioning on this fight is off, by the way, because there is this one called the Dark Blade, I think he's called. And he does this frontal jab, and as you could see there, 40 or 60% of my HP just disappeared because he did the jab with his sword, or thrust with his sword, and it just hit me. And yeah, I should be standing behind the mobs. That's just where I should be standing instead of my positioning right now. So there again, I get hit again. And these are very costly mistakes when you play it in boss week. And usually in boss week I pay a little bit more attention to it, but I should be paying more attention to it at that point as well. At the start of the pool I always try and go for the one, and not necessarily like completely destroy it, but just make sure that you are putting some damage in it, so that when everyone starts dealing AoE, me included, the relic is already maybe 10k lower or something. It doesn't really matter all that much, as long as it's just a little bit lower than the rest, because when you then do equal cleave damage, that guy goes down and everything is nice and dandy. So yeah, I should be spamming my bombs a little bit more here, because went down, and yeah, then you just have free bomb spam, more or less. But we're leaving the little guys alone, and we continue on moving forward. This tank is, yeah, he has quite a nice pacing, which makes this run a lot easier. So that's always good. So again, Dark Blade here in this pool. Make sure that your positioning is good. And again, I'm standing right next to the tank. I should be moving my ass just a little bit more to the right. Again, 60% of my HP. Why is that? Because I got hit by the thrust. I should not have been getting hit by that thrust. So yeah. And there I die. And this is my own fault. I got hit by another mechanic and the thrust, I think. And so yeah, that's a stupid mistake and a costly mistake as well, because now we're not dealing any damage, and this is a perfect window for us to be dealing damage. But yeah, stuff like that happens. But that's the downside, I think, on playing a lot of range, because you guys might have found my channel by when I was playing mostly Beast Mastery Hunter. That is my main spec after all, and the spec I thoroughly enjoy as well. I enjoy this spec as well, by the way, but I really enjoy that spec as well. And when you play range, especially BM, because like marksman, you still have to do stuff, right? You have to move out of shit and cancel your aim shot and stuff like that. But when you play BM, you don't give a shit about literally anything. You just stand there, you can dodge out of the way, nothing can really hurt you, so you're always fine. Make sure to stun that beast cost, by the way. It's very important, otherwise your tank will be very unhappy. So yeah, just make sure that you do that. But yeah, when I'm playing the BM most of the time, I'm really slow when I just like play survival again, because I've been playing BM a lot of runs before this one. So this is my first run playing survival again after like maybe 5 or 6 runs of BM, and then my mind just simply forgets or something. It's just dumb. But yeah. But more focusing on the game at hand. Try to make sure that you have your bleed up. Or yeah, your bleed from your kill command, try and have that up on as many targets as you can. So especially when you get the red bomb, it's very important that when you get a red bomb, that you are, how do you say that? That you are spreading your bleeds around. So swap targets. If you have like tap target, do that. Although be careful with the mobs that maybe are not in the pool. But click the different targets and make sure that you pull them properly or hit them properly. So yeah, do that. Besides that, what I think it's also pretty important is make sure that you, and as you can see I'm doing it right now, make sure that you are spreading your serpent sting out a lot as well. You really want to do that. So yeah, make sure that those two things, if you really want to increase your DPS, make sure that you do that. As you could see there, I was getting a new green bomb, so I was refreshing my stacks of Serpent Sting on the different mobs, so that when I hit my green bomb, it actually dealt more damage. So that was something that I was aiming for. And always try and make sure that you cone it in such a way that you hit all the targets, or as many targets as you can. Sorry about that. So yeah. Now I'm getting hit by all the freaking tornadoes as well. So yeah, this is a fine showing on how to screw up a key when you're not used to playing melee. That's something. This is a prime example. Here I'm now also learning during the dungeon. I'm like, okay, maybe I should position myself a little bit more safely. So that's why I'm like moving to the side a bit to not get jabbed or stabbed all the time. Yeah, there Braun comes in clutch and tries to knock everything out of Sanguine, which helps some of the times. Some of the times it's really awkward because then Braun just knocks them into the Sanguine, but yeah. Here I'm holding my resonating arrow because I know we're going to do a boss fight right after this. So I'm just holding on to it. I could have been using it because it would have hit 2 targets, so the cooldown would have been reduced by, I think it's 8 seconds. So it would be 52 seconds left, and then there's this downtime in which the loyal Stoneborns just come in. They need to be mind controlled, so they're ticking down some seconds. So I could have maybe used it there. And now, to top off my entire rant-like thing on stupid melee is being stupid, there you have it. That is me just being fucking stupid. So yeah. Should not have gotten hit there, but I did because positioning. So take away that from this dungeon is how not to do it on positioning wise, and just so you know how to actually do it in the future. Here I'm holding on to my cooldowns, and that is because I know he's gonna soon do the twirly thing, and I don't know if the tank is gonna like keep moving a lot. So that was why I was like aiming my resonating arrow just a little bit more further, so that if the tank would backpedal some more, he would not actually backpedal out of the range of my ability. And here the arc is wider, so it's a little bit safer if you stand a little bit further away. And at this point I'm really like a bit nervous while playing, because I don't want to get hit again, so I'm playing it a little bit more safe, which is not always great, because playing it safe can also lose you a lot of DPS. So yeah, but that's why I was like moving more backwards. But that's not a problem as long as you have Aspect of the Hawk, I think it's called, because then you can just safely do it. So now we're just gonna stay in melee, try and keep hitting him. Be aware of the tornadoes, because you don't really want to get knocked up and get hit by the beam, so play that safe. Keep focusing on where the tank is, that way you don't actually get slammed. And now we're slowly finishing up the boss, which takes ages, by the way. Luckily, the DPS of this group is quite high. Not single target so much, but yeah. Our tank is just casually doing still almost 10k DPS. Keep in mind though, he had the 2 Stoneborns, and although in Necrotic Wake, I think it is, the weapons do not actually show for the person, here the ads do actually show for the person as well. But yeah, that's fine. He's doing really nice. I'm gonna hold on to my coordinated assault, I think. Yes, I am. Just checking because I'm watching this back with you guys as well. But I'm holding on to my coordinated assault because after this one you usually just skip and go right into the next boss fight. And that boss fight you always start with Lust, or most of the time you will start with Lust there. So yeah. You want all your damage cooldowns to be at the start with Lust for the biggest increase of damage. I always try and just use my Aspect of the Cheetah, and here some people die, it just happens. Our shaman died here because he was using his engineering belt. Engineering belt doesn't last as long, and he didn't get like roar from the druids, so he was slow as fuck. He died. shit happens. Luckily, the DPS is high enough that we can still time it, even though we're like really slow right now. Because the tank there, he's just slowly waddling his way over. You know, these are the kinds of things that take a lot of time in a pug run. But yeah. Here, what I was thinking, I could have hold my resonating arrow for when he calls in his first batch of guards. That would be like now, because then you would reduce the cooldown further, and that is something I think I should maybe have done. Not really sure, because we also kill so yeah. And now this is awkward because I don't know who he jumped to. I think it was like he jumped to the warlock, and the warlock just didn't move into range. So all these ads will respawn, and I think that when you kill them, just like when you kill them for the first time, so not with the stone leap from the boss, but right now, if you kill them right now, they actually deal quite a bit of damage. So yeah, here I'm spamming disengage because I don't want him to jump on my head. But like now all these ads are gonna die, and you can see we are, as a group, are gonna take damage. So it's a bit awkward here. And to top that all off, like there is a new set coming as well. So again, there's a lot of bursting damage. We can pay attention to that. What we can do, or what we could have been doing, is, how do you say that? What we could have been doing was like slowly killing them. That way the healer could top us off again, but the healer was fine. He was doing great, so we were fine in that regard. During the fight, I was not really sure if like we would have gotten another massive bit of damage if he like leaped onto his ads. That's why you saw me turtle there, because I saw that the shaman was gonna like really burst down a lot of those ads. So I was like, oh shit, I have to make sure that I turtle to survive that. So yeah, that's why I was doing that. Now I know. But yeah, furthermore, when he leaps on top of you, you can just disengage and then use your harpoon to go straight in. Looks really cool. You get style points for doing it. So yeah. And now it gets the run gets a little bit slower. That's because the shaman will, if you can see his character model, will now stop casting. That is because he gets called away for something. So yeah, he's AFK for a bit, which is awkward, but it's awkward, but it happens, and it's fine, you know. Everyone just life things need to go first, I think. So if you're doing a key, it's fine, but if someone has something that they immediately need to do or get called away, then yeah, just accept it. Or that's my take on it, at least. So yeah. But luckily we're finishing off the boss. The luck is doing quite nice on the damage department during this fight. It's of course not really a single target fight with all the ads spawning, so there's that, but yeah. We are slowly finishing him off. There I walked in, and there you saw what the damage was if the leap would land on you. So it was almost 70% of my health. So yeah, just make sure that when he leaps on you, you just disengage away. On to the fight, and now we're gonna just try and kill these all. I'm gonna feign death here, I think, to drop the aggro, because it's really awkward. I have a lot of aggro. The tank is also struggling with this fight a bit. What you don't see me doing in this entire fight, or entire dungeon, is using my binding shot. That's the word of the ability. I'm not using binding shot, and that's because I don't want my ads to... I don't want the mobs to be like rooted for 7 seconds into a puddle of shit. I don't want that to happen. So I could do it at the start of a pull, but usually when a tank goes into a pull, he just, yeah, he just goes for it and uses all his defensives, and he just stands there and takes it, and it's all just fine, you know. So you don't really how do you say that? Damn, English and thinking sometimes is so freaking hard. I don't know what, I lost my train of thought, guys, sorry. So yeah, let's just go on to the next segue. But if you like me losing my train of thought or just like my content overall, then consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. It helps me out a ton. And I love all the feedback you guys are giving me. One of you guys told me in one of the comments that my game sound should be a little lower. That's why this run has, I think, lower game sounds. I hope you guys can hear the difference, that my voice now is actually a bit louder than the game sounds, what I usually do. So yeah, I hope that helps out. So here, as you can see on the minimap, down in the bottom right corner, you can see that the Shaman is still AFK. What I would have liked was the tank not to grab these Stoneborn. He was like, his mind was set on like push, 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 push. So yeah. Now, welcome back. The Shaman is coming back here, and we lost a little bit of time, but there is still time, and so now we're on to the last, or the 1 second to last boss. I think that's it. Yeah, so we're doing this boss fight. Always make sure that you pay attention to where the slam is going from the relic. It's really stupid if you die to that, which happened to me also. Not a lot of times, because I play range mostly, but when I do play survival, then I die to that sometimes, which is very, very awkward. What I would have liked to see is that the tank would tank the boss at a urn. Because he's like, it's more of in the middle. I would have liked him to just stand on top of it, and now we're just fighting in the middle, and there's no real reason, I think, to fight here. And so it would be really great if we could fight at one of those things, because if the ghost thingy now focuses me, for example, then I will have to walk out of melee range to actually deal with this. As you can see right now, what I of course do is activate my aspect of the hawk. That way I can still do DPS, but I think there are a bunch of range or melee specs that of course cannot do such a thing and are stuck not dealing damage for a couple of seconds. It shouldn't be that much time, but still, it happens. So that is something that you, if you are a tank and you watch this, then please do that. It's greatly appreciated by your melee. Yeah. And these weeks, like these boss weeks, they are always such a massive slugfest, if you ask me. But we're slowly getting through it, and slowly killing this guy. Sorry about that. I don't know if you heard me do that. That was disgusting. Sorry. Yeah. So I'm gonna just blow my cooldowns here to make sure that the last part of this phase just goes over quickly, because like in the next room, we don't really deal that much damage. It's better than Beast Mastery, but we don't really deal that much damage in this room. So yeah, I always go and just start to dot up these mobs and try and bomb them and make a cone and just hit as much as I can. So yeah. There, the Shaman luckily knocked away some of those little ads, because They're really annoying. I do not know what the right strategy is here. I sometimes see people just you know, not doing any of these tormented souls and just wail on the boss until he eventually like turns them all to shit, because he gets like full healed even though there is only one tormented soul, I think. So yeah, that's pretty shitty. I don't know why I opened my bag there. I'm gonna turtle here because these ads are really on top of me right now, and feign that doesn't work. That's the biggest problem. You can't just feign that and just remove it. So there I stunned the one that was still targeting me, because it's like, stop hitting me, I don't want to die to you. And then my headset fell out again. I don't know why that is. For some reason the headset doesn't register me watching this and the sound that comes from that. Then it always falls out, or not always, but in game it's never a problem. Here I still use my cooldowns, and it is actually good to maybe hold them, because we're gonna do a boss fight and we have bloodlust, like I stated earlier on in the video. But I didn't want us to take like ages for this one, so I decided to use everything, because we're gonna get and if we get then, well, we get cooldown reduction, so it should be up fairly quickly after. So now we have like 4 minutes left to do Lord Chamberlain, which I think is a nice boss to do when you're Beast Mastery. It's fun. It's freaking terrible as melee. And as you can see, I thought that we were going for For some reason we made a mistake and we went with Vi. And Vi just doesn't cleave really nicely. So yeah. And this fight I'm really nervous. I don't want to get hit. There I got hit. I'm so lucky that I did not die to that, next to the fact that there was not a tornado, because I just instantly gripped in. I was like, I'm out of range, grip in. And if there was a tornado with the sliver amount of health that I had, if there was a tornado, I would have been just massively fucked there. So here, I don't know why. A part of me just simply does not understand this. Is how come that there are always people that are not actively helping in this scenario? How is it so that when I do these runs in pugs, people don't think about soaking? It's like, I don't get why. Yeah. That's something I can't wrap my head around. It's so many times that people just stand AFK on the side, not participating. So yeah. Luckily there our tank died, but luckily we survived. I don't know what took aggro for a second. I think maybe the stone elemental. Our warlock, by the way, is like a professional in getting hit by the statues, but he is all right, and we are still going strong. And now we're moving out again, making sure that we don't get hit by the statues when they are dragged in or pushed out. And now we make sure that we position ourselves in a way, and just make sure that we can soak. What I have up right now, I have Hunter's Mark, of course, on the boss to reduce his damage, and I had my Survival of the Fittest, which is a damage reduction, and I used my Feign Death, which is also a damage reduction. So yeah, that way we can reduce the damage, and the beams do not hit as hard. It still hits like a truck, but not that hard. And that is more or less the run, guys. So if you watch this all the way to the end and you like the content, then consider leaving a like. Well, by now, then I think you should actually just leave a like and subscribe to the channel. That would help me out a ton. and that would be greatly appreciated. Of course, also let me know if there are things that I can do to make the content better. If you have feedback for me in any way, shape, or form, things that I should keep doing or should change up, let me know in the comments, because yeah, that stuff that's really appreciated. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.